to all our trade partners joining us today. Thank you for being with us for the Rural Tourism in Spain webinar brought to you by the Tourism Office of Spain, collaboration with Singular Spain, its DMC partner. Disha Ghosh from Travel Biz Monitor, and I will be your moderator for today's session. On behalf of Travel Biz Monitor, I would like to thank the Tourism Office of Spain in India and Singular Spain for their collaboration in bringing meaningful and knowledge driven initiatives to the Indian travel trade community. Today's webinar will introduce you to a more authentic and experiential side of Spain, one defined by timeless villages, rich culture, gastronomy, breathtaking landscapes, traditions, and meaningful local experiences. We are delighted to be joined by Miss Elena Orland, Director, Tourism Office of Spain in India, and Miss María Pérez de Arenaza, insights into rural Spain and experiential travel opportunities for travelers. To begin today's session, let us first watch a short video that beautifully captures the spirit and diversity of rural Spain.
I guess Disha is facing some technical issues. So apologies for that. My name is Ajay, and I'll be taking over the moderation from Disha. So before any further ado, uh, start with the next segment, which is like a we'd like to introduce our speakers for today. That is Miss Elena Orland and Miss from Tourism Office of Spain in India, as well as Maria Pérez de Arenaza from Singular Spain. And before we move to the next part of our presentation, our webinar, I would like to just take you through this webinar guidelines. Before we proceed further, here are a few quick housekeeping notes to ensure a smooth webinar experience for everyone. Please note that all attendees' microphones and webcams will remain switched off during the session. We encourage you to post your questions anytime in the Q&A tab. You can see that blue color tab chat box on the bottom right corner of your screen. Please click on that to enter your queries. Your questions will be addressed during the dedicated Q&A session towards the end. If you experience any technical issues, please refresh your browser or rejoin using the same webinar link. This webinar session is being recorded and will be shared with registered participants after the webinar. Meanwhile, we request all participants to stay till the end of the webinar for the complete experience and discussion about rural tourism offerings of Spain. Now, we move to the first presentation of the day. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. Elena Orland, Director of the Tourism Office of Spain in India, to take us through the fascinating world of rural tourism in Spain. I would request Elena to share insights into Spain's diverse rural regions, experiential travel opportunities, sustainability initiatives, and why rural Spain is increasingly becoming attractive for travelers seeking authentic and meaningful experiences. Over to you, Elena.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here today and have the opportunity to talk about rural tourism in Spain, and of course to share with María from Singular Spain this webinar. And thank you, of course, to Travel Beats Monitors team, Jay, Disha, for making this event possible. Though the conflict in the Middle East is generating some uncertainty, today I would like to focus on what can benefit both the Indian tourism industry and Spain once things return to normal. And I am going to begin with a very simple idea. India and Spain are experiencing an extraordinary moment of connection. Spain is in transition towards a more sustainable tourism model, and the Indian traveler, particularly the premium Indian traveler, is evolving rapidly, traveling more frequently, seeking authentic experiences, valuing meaningful luxury, and looking to discover destinations that are still relatively unexplored. And this is precisely where rural tourism in Spain represents an exceptional opportunity. Can we move to the next slide, please? Thank you. When people think of Spain, iconic cities such as Madrid or Barcelona often come to mind, along with other places like Mediterranean beaches and our famous lifestyle. But today we are going to speak about another Spain, a Spain that is quieter, more exclusive, more authentic, and deeply experiential. The Spain of historic villages, family-owned wineries, medieval castles, endless olive groves, local gastronomy, boutique hotels, ancient festivities, and genuine human connection. Rural Spain does not mean isolation, it means privacy, it means well-being, it means emotional luxury. And this connects perfectly with the new generation of premium Indian travelers. Next. Next slide, please. Thank you. I am going to skip this slide so I don't run over time. I just would like you to take a minute to reflect on a few concepts that are often considered similar, although they are not. These concepts are sustainable tourism, rural tourism, agro-tourism, nature tourism, and ecotourism. The idea is to be aware that these terms, although related, are not synonyms. For example, not every natural tourism trip is sustainable or eco-friendly. A bird-watching tour or a safari may not be sustainable if access to the protected areas is not controlled or conduct regulations are not fulfilled while observing the fauna. A high-end hotel in the wilderness may not be sustainable if it doesn't implement an appropriate waste management system or if they pollute a nearby river or the sea. These are just a few ideas to think about. Next. As I was saying, Spain is undergoing a transition towards a more sustainable tourism model, towards a model that takes into account environmental and social impacts of tourism and implements measures to correct them with two main objectives: to guarantee economic viability of the tourism industry and to guarantee the quality of the traveler's experience. As we are going to see in the next slide, in order to achieve sustainability, yes, next slide, please. Yes, in order to achieve sustainability, we need to manage tourism flows. And how are we going to do that? The answer is easy, through diversification, and diversification in three aspects: spatial, diversification, unlike other countries where the main attractions are concentrated in a few cities. Spain is full of treasures throughout the country, especially in smaller cities and rural areas, We don't need to focus on the main cities to make the most of Spain. Temporal diversification is about when, and you all know that Spain stands out as an extraordinary year-round destination, with many regions enjoying mild, pleasant weather even in autumn, winter, and spring. Most of the Mediterranean beaches are even great, they are even great outside the summer season. In spring, April to June and autumn, October and November, most of the national parks and landscapes, forests are at their best. And in the third place, motivational diversification. It's about why. There are different reasons to visit Spain. We know that the profile of the Indian traveler to Spain belongs to a high or middle high class that spends more than other tourists from other countries, that Indian traveler is interested in urban tourism, culture, shopping, festivals, nightlife. But we can also find micro-segments and niches where different interests such as wine lovers, nature photographers, women traveler, all of these are travelers potentially interested in rural tourism. So why should we promote rural tourism? We are going to see it in next slide. Rural tourism in Spain is very well positioned to offer the diversification we need, and provides clear advantages compared to traditional tourism concentrated in Madrid, Barcelona, or Seville. The first one is that rural tourism in Spain offers premium traveler experiences defined by greater privacy, better service, and easier access to unique boutique hotels. A second advantage is that visitors enjoy more authentic cultural experiences far from mass tourism, with less overcrowding in key destinations. In the third place, mild weather makes travel especially attractive. And the fourth is that rural tourism in Spain also delivers excellent value for money compared to other premium European destinations. Next slide. Thank you. At the same time, while Spain is moving towards a more sustainable tourism model, we are observing very clear trends in the Indian market and potential customers in this segment. Travelers who have already visited the traditional European capitals and now want to discover the unknown Spain. Multi-generational families looking for private villas, nature, and tailor-made experiences. Honeymooners seeking exclusivity and romance. High net worth professionals preferring slower, longer, and more meaningful journeys. And luxury travelers who increasingly tend to value authenticity more than ostentation. And there is another key trend, the growing interest in traveling outside the peak season. So I think we can agree on the idea that rural tourism in Spain and premium Indian travelers make a perfect match. Next slide, please. So we all know that destinations, today's international travelers, especially international premium travelers, are not only interested in visiting the main cities or monuments of the country, they are increasingly looking for authentic experiences, exclusive, personalized, and memorable experiences. So due to its higher purchasing power, the premium sector is less affected by economic crisis, so it's expected to maintain its tendency to travel even if the flight price rises or connections are required. So focusing on this segment can benefit our business in difficult times. There are many programs, initiatives, companies that provide unforgettable experiences in rural areas. Singular Spain is one of them. So in a few minutes, we will hear them to talk about this issue. But before Maria speaks, let me share with you a few examples of those experiences that resonate with Indian premium travelers. The first one is gastronomy and wine. Spain, as you know, is one of the world's great gastronomic destinations, but often the true magic happens outside the cities, where a traveler can enjoy in the form of private wine tastings in historic wineries, farm-to-table experiences, regional cooking classes, wine routes, or dinners hosted in century-old states or monasteries. Spain also encourages zero-mile restaurants, where they try to source as many local ingredients as possible. Regions as, of course, Extremadura, but also La Rioja, Ribera de Duero, and Priorat offer extraordinary opportunities for the luxury or premium experiential segment. These are the most famous regions, but amazing experiences can be found in most of the regions of Spain. Next slide, please. Spain has become one of the most attractive destinations for rural wellness experiences, offering nature-based, culturally immersive retreats beyond its main cities and coasts. Regions like Asturias, Galicia, Extremadura, Navarra, Andalusia, of course, and the Pyrenees provide experiences such as spa stays in historic properties, mountain and forest wellness, thermal springs, and outdoor activities. The destinations combine luxury, privacy, and personalized services with holistic activities like yoga, meditations, horseback riding, appealing especially to travelers seeking relaxation, disconnection, and authentic experiences in nature. Next, please. If you Google villages of Spain you can't miss, you will get thousands of different lists. Destinations such as Ronda, Albarracín, Santillana del Mar, Frigiliana, Trujillo, Livenza, these last two in Extremadura, are part of those lists and offer a deeply authentic and sophisticated cultural experience. For many international travelers, and Indian travelers are no exception, this represents a more exclusive and memorable Spain, and also a great opportunity to get closer to its amazing cultural diversity. Let me give you one example. Spain is famous for the running of the bulls in Pamplona, fallas in Valencia, carnivals in Cádiz, and Canary Islands, or procesiones in Easter. But now, across rural Spain, there is a growing revival of ancestral festivals linked to pre-Christian traditions in some cases, and even in pre-Roman roots. In regions such as Ávila, Zamora, Galicia, and Asturias, celebrations featuring wooden masks, animal skins, bells, and ritual characters are drawing strong interest from younger generations. Next, please. These festivals were connected to seasonal change, fertility, and protecting the community. Today, they are being revitalized through local pride and cultural tourism. Beyond preserving intangible heritage, they also support local economies. So these are authentic, immersive experiences deeply connected to Spain's and Europe's oldest traditions and living culture heritage. Let me briefly share a personal experience. Shortly before moving to India, I had the opportunity to attend one of these festivals in Ávila, very near Madrid. I was one of the very few tourists attending the mass parade. This parade takes place every year in a different small village in a certain region, and all the residents attend wearing the traditional local costume. All songs are sung, songs that only the older generations still know. During this festival, I saw 90-year-old grandmothers become the heart and soul of the celebration. They knew the old songs, they knew the lyrics, everybody was paying attention to them. They felt surrounded by the community, included, comforted, and joyful. It was deeply emotional. So as a tourist, this is exactly the kind of experience I want to have, and Spain is ready to provide it. Next, please. Well, you all know the amazing biodiversity Spain gathers in a geographical area which is six times smaller than India. You have some data there on the slide. I would like to focus in something that you may not know, is that Spain is one of the best destinations in the world for stargazing due to a rare combination of natural, geographic, and environmental protection factors. Altogether, a combination of clean skies, environmental protection, and meteorological conditions makes Spain a global reference for astronomical tourism in the Northern Hemisphere. Extremadura and Canary Islands are among the best locations for astronomy in Spain. And since we are talking about astronomy, we need to mention that between 2026 and 2028, Spain will experience a remarkable series of solar eclipses, one of the most significant astronomical periods of the century. And the first event will be a total solar eclipse on the 12th of August, visible only from 2 countries in the world, one of them is Spain. So Tour Spain provides daily information about the eclipse in its website. And I want to conclude in the next slide, please, with mentioning connectivity. Although we don't have a direct flight yet, it will come. When it comes to rural tourism, the absence of a direct flight is not a big issue in the sense that a traveler from India can reach the interior or the north of Spain with only one flight connection through Europe. I know the prices are high now, but they will go down when everything goes back to normal. And once in Spain, the infrastructure is excellent. High-speed trains, modern roads, ideal for road trips, high-quality hotels, and premium services. This makes it very easy to combine the visit to iconic cities with rural areas. Just to wrap up in the last slide, I would like to address all of you, our partners from the travel trade. Next slide, please. Rural Spain opens exciting opportunities for boutique travel agencies, luxury and premium travelers designers, wedding planners, and MICE specialists, because it allows the creation of highly personalized, high-value itineraries. I truly believe there is a natural affinity between the premium Indian traveler and this new value position that Spain offers, based in authenticity, exclusivity, well-being, gastronomy, culture, and transformative experiences. That is why from Tourist Spain, we invite you to discover different Spain, Spain that is slower, more human, and more exclusive, Spain that is perfect for off-season travel and perfect for the Indian travelers. For more information, please visit our microsite, our website, and follow us in our social media. And thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena, for this lovely, insightful presentation and for introducing us to the beauty and the diversity of rural Spain. I'm sure our travel partners are quite excited about this information that you just gave us, and they will be soon, doing some bookings to offer to the rural areas of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would like to move to the next segment of today's webinar. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. María Pérez de Arenaza, founder of Singular Spain, our DMC partner for today, for a presentation titled as Journey Towards Singularity, where she will introduce Singular Spain's philosophy and approach to creating meaningful, curated, and experiential journeys across Spain. Maria, over to you.
Hello. Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you, Elena and Tour Spain, for giving us a chance to talk about Singular Spain, to one of these kind of trips Elena was talking about. Singular Spain was founded 5 years ago. I was working as journalists and producers on editorial groups. I left the job and I created this boutique travel agency with the idea of highlighting the rich rural heritage we have in Spain. And most of all, not just the landscapes, the monuments, all these cultures and these festivities, popular festivities, the gastronomy, all these. Also, the people, that is what I have been discovering these years doing field work, the marvelous people living and working in rural Spain. And this has getting to be the soul of our trips. We do encounters with these people, we have conversations with them, and we discover a territory through these conversations. It can be an artisan, a master artisan, it can be a farmer who is a reference in good practices, it can be an artist or a cultural dynamizer, promoter in the area. So this is a little bit a small story of Singular Spain, and now I'm going to tell you about it, no? So you have an idea as travel agencies. Okay, so who are we? We are a boutique DMC agency specializing in rural travel. We design and we manage. We can do both things, itineraries and experiences. So it is important that the idea is that we design tailor-made trips. Depends of the groups, the interest of the people who are joining this trip. So we make a special tour for them. These trips are not packages that serve to everybody. They are specialized to this group. And it's very important that in these trips, as I have said, is the human perspective, the essential of the trips, the people we are going to meet along the way. Okay. Our commitment. This is very important because for me, it was the beginning of everything. This travel agency had to have a commitment, because if not, it would be one among 1,000 travel agencies. And the commitment are, I think, it summarizes in three important things. One is that we showcase the rich heritage in the lesser known parts of Spain. We go where tourists don't often go. We generate social and economic impact in the communities we visit. Okay, it's not only about economic, that of course is not only paying restaurants and hotels, is that we are paying the people we encounter. So they give us their time, their savoir-faire, and I think their know-how, and I think this is very important, and their relevance. And we also promote Spanish excellence. It's a kind of excellence we seldom talk about, but it is found in rural Spain. It's the artisanal traditions and the sustainable practices done in rural Spain. This excellence. Okay, this is our commitment. And who are we targeting? Well, lots of different kind of people, but mainly culturally curious travelers who want to explore lesser known side of Spain. So, explorers. Groups of friends and multi-generational families, because I think it's a kind of trips very interested for families that can go with the grandparents, the parents, and the children, because they are all going to love it. We also address ourselves to the business travel. It is very important because companies specializing in creating memorable experiences for their incentive trips, we are always going to meet people who make you think. Because all these people that we have found along these years are people who really have values, who do very well what they know to do, and who work with love for the territory. So the conversation with them is really very interesting and very inspirational. We also go for those who like photography and craft enthusiasts, because travelers are going to meet traditional artisans, many of them who are the last of the people who is doing these crafts in this area, and also contemporary artisans. And I think it's really interesting also for photography lovers of landscapes. And also we go to these kind of people. We are studying the Spanish language, because these kind of trips, it promotes conversation with the people we are going to encounter. So I think it's a very good idea to practice the Spanish language. We go for those who strive for excellence, and those who enjoy traveling in small groups in search of the authentic experiences, connecting closely with the locals and the surrounding environment. Okay. Why are singular trips? Well, I'm going to summarize, but we design personalized experiences for curious travelers seeking unique and authentic journeys in rural Spain. This is very important. The word authentic is not just a social trend word. It's really, they are going to meet authenticity in the areas they are going to visit. We open the door to a Spain that can only be reached by secondary roads. And this is a very nice idea also because they are not going to travel through highways, taking them to the iconic cities, but they are going to get into the roots of Spain. We craft itineraries so that travelers don't just visit a region, they immerse themselves in it. The trip is the result of dedicated fieldwork and a highly curated selection. This is our job. I, as a journalist, I like very much doing research. I like very much talking with people and see if really we can go and visit them because they are so interesting for the travelers. And I can tell you that from all the people I have met around these 5 years, I can tell you that 80% of them are really people worthwhile visiting. For us, the journey itself is the experience. Everything included in the itinerary is important. And upon returning, this is also a very good idea. Travelers may bring home artisanal work with them and also gastronomy products committed to excellence. And hallmarks are these encounters, these singular encounters, that they are exclusive meetings with extraordinary people, who we consider the ambassadors of our rural heritage. These encounters are our crown jewel and our most personal project. We travel in intimate groups, so we can have this conversation with the ambassadors and the hosts we are meeting. The accommodations have always are always integrated in the surroundings. They can be historic monuments, old historic monuments, traditional houses, all kinds of houses, but always integrated and very charming and places to relax in. And we give a great importance to gastronomy. We always recommend and find and reserve in restaurants that work with local products. Also, we do country foods in the private estates, in wineries, in different places, depending of the area. But it is very important, the authenticity of the gastronomy. It can be a local bar or tavern, or it can be a Estrella Michelin, because the great thing of these Michelin stars is that they work with the local producers. So it is very important also to go and try them. And for vegetarians, we take great care that every place we go, they have vegetarian elaborated food with the local products. We wander around these areas you can see in the map of Spain. Okay, we work in the peninsula, mostly in the interior, but if you are interested in some else in the peninsula area, we can work with it because we have been doing quite a big research all along these years. But this are the areas and the less visited places in Spain. Our services, whether you require the creation of a single experience, it could be, or design a complete trip, we handle every detail, the logistics and the experiences. We ensure that uncompromising quality and reliability throughout your journey. So you have the confidence that you are in good hands because we take really good care of everything. We organize unique experiences. The heart of every journey lies on our local host, as I have just said. The accommodations, we select boutique retreats and heritage properties. where travelers may have good rest and be really at comfort. Gastronomy, our culinary selection celebrate local seasonable ingredients. We take care of vegetarians, and we also visit heritage culture monuments. We visit villages, small towns, and all these the natural and the territory dimensions. We also do active tourism, depending of the area where we are staying. It depends what can we do, and also the time. We can go for truffle and mushroom foraging. We can do horseback riding, wildlife tracking, curate bespoke activities like hands-off craft workshops. So you can go to a workshop of an artisan and work with him. So we can do many different things. Also go in a hot air balloon ride. And well, it is very important to know that it depends also of the time as we are working with people. If some of the people are not available in this time, we always have a option B, C, that they are as good as option one, option A. So this is very important. This is more or less what is about Singular Spain, our kind of travel agency. And later on, I will put you an example of one of our trips. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, for this lovely introduction on what Singular Spain and what principles it runs your business with. And thank you so much for the principle and the strategy that you provide rural offerings of Spain via your travel agency. Now I would like to continue with your next storytelling session called as the road trip, where you will take us through some examples of your services and the itineraries that you have offered so far in the past. And through this presentation, Maria will be sharing authentic stories, experiences, and journeys that bring rural Spain to life and showcase its culture, traditions, and immersive travel experiences beyond the conventional tourist trail. Maria, over to you once
Okay.
again.
Thank you. Sorry, one thing that I forgot. I'm here with my colleague, Karina Rondon. We work together in these trips, and she's helping me with this. And I realized I forgot to introduce Karina.
Don't
My
worry.
bad as well.
Pleasure. Okay, so here we start. I'm going to put you a kind of example that we did last September with a group of people living in India and also Indians living in the States in California. It was a group, for you to have an idea, it was a group of 14 people, and we did a trip of 8 days around Extremadura. Okay, so you have an idea of the kind of varied things we take care of at the different landscapes. So we start with a road trip. Well, there is key information, the destinations we are visiting, the duration, the first distance for the first stop. This one was 200 kilometers. And well, it was a group for, this one was for 14 guests. We handle from 6 to 15, more or less, because we want to keep small groups. So we guarantee the conversation and the quality of the trip. And our services are varied. We can handle everything, but normally it depends. We always handle the exclusive experiences with our hosts, our tickets and guided tours, of course. They curated, we give recommendations for the lunch and dinners and the accommodations in these boutique lodges. And optional services, we manage the gastronomy. You can go with a tour manager, English speaking, and we manage also the transportation if you wish so. Okay, so the strip touring Extremadura. The road trip will take travelers to one of the most remote. We are going, because you see it in the map, we are going to the west of Spain. And this trip takes all this area going from Madrid, okay, to Extremadura area. This road trip will take travelers to one of the most remote and non-welcoming and beautiful areas in Spain. There will be monumental and historical cities, two of them World Heritage Sites, small medieval villages, beautiful and varied landscapes. And among these, we highlight the Dehesa estates, which are unique to the Iberian Peninsula. Also, delicious local cuisine from popular canteens to Michelin stars, and very cozy accommodations full of character, blending into the surroundings, and many of them with a story to tell. At last, but not least, welcoming hosts who will open their doors to share with travelers their unique way of experiencing the region. So we take off from Madrid by car, by bus, and the departure from the west of Madrid, and we arrive to a place that is called La Vera. It is the south of a mountain region called Gredos. Beautiful place. I cannot explain it. They say that many foreigners, we have met many foreigner people who have gone to establish themselves there because for them it's like a paradise. Along the southern edge of Sierra de Gredos, with the highest and most prominent peak, the Almanzor, that it gets to be 2,500 meters. We are going to go through charming villages, peaceful and rugged landscapes, amazing gorges, streams, and natural pools where you can have a bath in summertime if you wish so. This area, La Vera, is a small paradise. Many outsiders come here to start a new life, fully aware of the magnificent surrounding they find themselves in. The weather is always pleasant and water is constantly trickling through the landscape. There is a very special energy in this area, and they say it's due to the abundance of rose quartz underground. The caves now, so we are starting to see the area. At the right side, you have the caves of Cerro del Águila. These are over 1 million years old and still alive. They are still evaluating. A fascinating karst sanctuary that challenges any sense of the speed of time. These caves were found, these caves were found by a small group of children in the 60s last century, and it's something astonishing. This small church to the left is dedicated to the Virgin of the area. In Spain, Spain used to be, now less and less, but it used to be, and it's very popular, the Catholic religion, and every village, every area has a virgin who is the virgin of this village or of this surrounding, and this is a small chapel dedicated to this village. There is also in the area an Iron Age beton hill. They used to live in these areas because of the pleasant weather in the area. We are talking about the 3rd century before Christ. Along the road that runs the foothills of the mountains, there are a number of charming old villages, very small villages, each with its own traditional festivals, as Elena has said, and you spot here and there old tobacco dyeing sheds. These are abandoned old sheds where they used to dry the tobacco, and really the landscape with the mountains behind is something beautiful. Many of these tobacco sheds are being recovered into contemporary places. One of the activities we suggest is taking a guided walk to explore Sierra de Gredos, and a landscape of great beauty. Depending on the season and the level of difficulty, travelers can take a pleasant walk through with great views of the mountains, with crystal clear natural pools, as you can see on the picture. And they can also explore the mountain covered of flowering brooms in springtime. and follow the beautiful last trip taken by Emperor V on his way to settle to the monastery of Juste. We had our last big emperor, European emperor. It was very mysterious because he had a whole world at his disposal where to retire, and he chose to retire in a place, in a monastery. We are going to show you now to retire there in this area next to the Sierra de Gredos. They can also venture if you like hiking. You can venture on top of Sierra de Gredos, and if you're lucky, you can encounter these mountain goats that in winter time they fight one against the other, and it's spectacular. Other activity is taking a horse ride to explore the beautiful area. Among our curated experiences, there is the pepper harvest time. By the end of September, there are people who still make this pepper in the traditional way. Very few people. And one of them are two brothers, Dionisio and Raúl, who burned the pepper in these old stone houses. And really is for people who like photography, who like conversations with people doing old practices, is a marvel. Also, we can meet some ceramists that live in the area. For example, Gemma, here in the picture, she is from Sevilla. She moved to the area to establish herself there, and she works iron and also ceramic. Two worlds, one more gentle and the other harsher. And it's the combination of both craft is precisely what she tells us she enjoys. There is also Avelino, who stands out as an exceptional figure on the Spanish art scene of his superb technical mastery and profound exploration of form, working the ceramic also in this area. There is also a very special reservoir where cranes begin to arrive at the beginning of winter time, and the sight of them returning every evening to spend the night at the reservoir is a marvel. It's a great experience. So we can have a picnic waiting for the cranes to come. And before leaving this beautiful area, travelers will visit the monastery of Juste. This is the monastery where I told you that this emperor came to retire himself. He chose this settlement to spend his final years, and he stayed there. He stayed before in a castle, waiting for it to be prepared. He only lasted there, I think, 1 or 2 years. I think only 2 years, because he had a mosquito bite and he died very soon. But this is a very special place. Travelers, is a must. You have to visit because it has a very historical significance. For lunches and dinners, we can do it in very special places. There is, for example, this organic farmhouse. They have, as you can see, reconverted an old tobacco building that we have seen before. And there is Maria, who takes care of this farmhouse, and she does these special dinners that are marvelous in this site. There are also old mills beside the river that they do contemporary cuisine, and also in the villages you can have traditional or contemporary cuisine. And regarding accommodations, there will be always time at the end of the day to relax in the charming boutique hotels or rural houses that you will fully enjoy at the foothills of the Sierra, or spend also the night at the historic Parador. So this is a rural house for families, for example, that they can stay in this magnificent rural house, and small hotels, and also this historic Parador, that is where Charles V stayed before he could move to the monastery. And we leave this area, we leave La Vera, okay? And then we move to a very special place that has nothing to do with what we have seen. The mountains are disappearing now. And on the way to the next stop, leaving Sierra de Gredos behind, travelers will approach through a beautiful winding road that we have this landscape, one of the best preserved Jewish quartiers in Spain. A perfect place to taste its well-known cuisine. This is one of the, it's a very small quartier, but it's very, very well conserved. Or maybe they rather taste one of the Estrella Michelin restaurants. There are only two in Extremadura, and before pay a visit to a very special site, the old village of Granadilla. On the shores of this reservoir you are seeing, this village is an abandoned village and has a very interesting story behind. These are the three chairs of the Estrella Michelin in this area. And then we move to Sierra de Gata. Sierra de Gata is where travelers will spend the two nights. The two following nights. This is one of the less explored places in Spain because it seems remote, but really it is not remote. Scattered throughout its valleys are a number of cross-border villages that maintain close ties with Portuguese communities because we are in the frontier, Portugal and Spain, and which led them to interact with one another, to battle and to exchange goods and cultures. And as they battled so much, all these villages has their fortress. Among decorated, this is the kind old villages, as you can see, medieval villages that they have been conserved like this. Among our curator experiences, the travelers, we have, of course, a guided historical walk through these small villages, but there are also gastro experiences. So as this is an area specialized in olive trees, they have a very, very good olive oil, and where we will be meeting people who produce this olive oil and who will tell us about these virtues. And here we have also a small village in Portugal. We can visit both places because they also have cultural programs between each other. We will also see a cultural promoter. This is Danny. He has a small tavern in Trevejo, where I show you the abandoned castle, and he's a cultural promoter. He has a private estate that is a modernist house, very special, a little bit like surreal, and he has there cows and mutons and a small church and a beautiful landscape with all these olive oils. And Danny, he will be in charge of showing us this abandoned castle in Trevejo. In this tavern, he serves local products, and among the local products are this young couple who does the milk from the goats, that we can also go and see them. One of the best cheese in Extremadura, very well-known cheese. And we also can meet local artisans. Okay, so among the artisans, there is a group of women who are keen on bobbin lace making. It's an ancestral art we did in Spain. Maybe in India you also do it. And it's dating back on the 15th century. And the women gather in the village to work with all these laces and do all these clothes you can see. There is also a goldsmiths, craft jewelry artisans. What you are seeing here are jewelers that the people from in the popular feast, they used to wear, and they still wear them. Okay, now you can see also them in the museums, but there are still people, 3 men who still do these beauties. These are on the top, they are old ones, but they also do contemporary ones. There is also a woman on the right photo you can see who is the only woman in Extremadura who still does the hats, this colorful hats they use for the countryside. Now they use it for regional feasts, and she's the only one who still does it. No one after her is going to do them anymore. It's very sad. So that's why it's also very important to visit these people. There is also the workshop of a natural fiber artisan that lives in the woods, and he makes beautiful pieces with natural fiber. And we can also visit the garden of a person who is dedicated to aromatherapy. And you can also do an atelier and produce the essence of the plants of Sierra de Gata, of this area, and take it with you back home, the travelers. There will be also guided hikes or drives by car if you prefer, to discover the richness in terms of bird life, of flora, and of landscape. And if the right time, travelers can go around to the reservoir and also another reservoir, see the coming cranes or the migratory birds. And one thing that Elena said, that in Spain there are still many places where you can have really a dark sky, beautiful dark skies with the stars. And so one of the experiences, of course, will be to enjoy a starry night with a person who will tell you about the importance of these starry nights and the legends and the stories behind them. And there is a very special place in the area in the north that if seldom people go to Sierra de Gata, less people go to this area. It's a wild area called Las Urdes, and there we have Antonio, who is a goat keeper. He keeps the goats. The only mission for the goats is to eat the herbs, so there are no fires, to prevent the fires, because all these areas, every summer, there are fires, and they're working very much in this prevention of the fires. And the landscape is wild, is solitary. They have these old, you can see the ruins of these old villages, and it's something really interesting. In the beginning of last century, the king that was there went to see it because they told him that it was so poor that he had to go and visit it to do something about it. And he went to see, he explored it, and well, it's nothing to do now. We are on the 21st century, but really there is big legends behind this area. Lunches, this area also have this river landscape, beautiful one, that you can do it by boat, you can see it on top, and well, it's a beautiful area, really. These are small villages, medieval villages in the area. This is the goats of Antonio that you can go and visit. And these places where you can have lunches in these tiny villages, in these places with the local people and with the local products. But also you can see, well, this is, if it's time for mushrooms, these are the mushrooms. This is eaten in front of all these mountains in Las Urdes. But you also can have contemporary food in modern restaurants and modern hotels. Mostly the hotels you are going to stay in, they all have their restaurant services, and they experience with the food, but always with the local products. And the houses where you are staying, they are very different one from the other. This is like a bed and breakfast, a farm, so cozy and so beautifully. And the owner, he tells you about all these areas. Really, something great being there. But you can also stay in old country houses that also do their own olive oil. They have these beautiful swimming pools, they have their hammams, beautiful bedrooms, just the perfect place where to relax. And this is an old mill. This old mill was abandoned, and it was a North American who got it because he fell in love with the area, and he reconverted it in an hotel, all comfort, but of course respecting the traditional architecture. It has its own swimming pool also, its restaurant, beautiful. And now we are leaving the countryside and we are going to go to Cáceres. Cáceres is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is one of the most beautiful cities in Spain, is very few tourists go to see it, but really the monuments is beautiful. And we can have a guided visit in this monumental area. This used to be a place where Jewish, Arabs, and Christians used to be together and live together. But after the end of the 15th century, Jewish and Arab had to leave, and they only stayed the Christians. But there are still the memory of these three cultures, and it's really very interesting. And in Cáceres, those who love art, there is a walk I like very much, that is a 20 minutes walk from a Neanderthal artist cave, okay, one of the oldest in Europe, where you can see the prints of this hand, and an avant-garde contemporary art collection, one of the most important in Europe. Only 20 minutes walks, and it's something you have to see. This contemporary art collection belonged to a German woman who died recently. He had a gallery in Spain, very, very important gallery, and he decided to open this museum in Cáceres. And this is a Cáceres by night. You can walk through this old area alone, completely on solitude. And I think this is really a luxury. And also one thing we can do is a theatrical nocturnal walk around to surprise travelers, and there is this theatrical visit, they will tell the story of this area, and you are just alone. This is an aristocratic house. This is the US Cartier, and outside Cáceres, there is this area that is a monumental environment place with a museum also of an avant-garde contemporary artist, German artist, who married a lady, a writer in Extremadura. He went many times to visit the area, and he liked so much conversing with the shepherds, with the rural people, that he fell in love, also like the North American, with a mild hotel, with a mill hotel, and he took an old place where they used to clean all the wool, and he made his particular art collection. Here you have it. Lunches, dinners in Cáceres, well, there is a great offer because it's a gastronomy city, and among these great offers, there is the Michelin star, very well known, and that belongs to a chef and his companion, and where they have these Michelin stars, other restaurants and beautiful hotels in the old part of Cáceres. And among these hotels, there is this Parador Nacional, also in the historic Cáceres. And sigue pasando. Vale, this is a very brand new hotel, Hilton One, beautiful, also in the historic Cáceres. These are the two main places from the owners of the Atrio Michelin Star restaurant. To the right, this is a very, very special palace, old palace in the old Cáceres. Something very special. This one is in the new Cáceres, but the new Cáceres is a very small town, beautifully also. And this hotel is outside Cáceres. If you want to relax outside the city, even though it's a small city, you can go to this place. They have their own chef. They have their swimming pool to relax. The places where this is all comfort. Then we have Mérida, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, because it keeps all what is one of the best preserved Roman cities in Europe. Okay, and the best preserved in Spain. So we will have a guided walk through this beautiful Roman city. This is the theater of the Roman theater. Sigue pasando. This is every year in this Roman theater they celebrate classical theater, and as you can see, they use it as a backstage, beautiful backstage. And this is the Roman Museum in Mérida. And now we are going to Trujillo. It's just 1 hour from Mérida, 1 hour from Cáceres, and also a beautiful monumental heritage. From Trujillo, there were some conquerors that went to America to explore and conquer America. There is a beautiful big square in Trujillo. This is Trujillo by night. Also, you can do it completely alone. It's something astonishing, so beautiful and so alone. And well, this is the kind of city you can meet in Trujillo. And the Trujillo one is also a very gastronomy town, and where you can experience a contemporary and traditional, but mostly contemporary with local products offers, very, very exquisite ones. And you can stay in special singular accommodations. This one is the house of the first explorer of the Amazons in America. Is called La Casa Orellana, an old historical house. And this is, and you can also stay in El Parador Nacional, in the same Trujillo that was used to be an old convent. And you can stay some minutes away from Trujillo, on the south of Trujillo, in country houses. And this is one of these beautiful country houses they have for tourists. It used to be old country houses. And now we are going to see the surroundings of Trujillo. It is very special to get to meet the shepherds and the rangers who take care of this kind of ship that is called the Merina ship. This Merina ship used to give value to Spain, economical value, during 6 centuries, and there are still shepherds who take care of them. And you will have the chance, if you go to see them, you have the chance to see these private estates that if not, you wouldn't know. So it is something beautiful. They have the sheep, the cows, also the horses, pura raza española, very nice, a very important race, Spanish race. And then for people who likes bird watching, you have a very important national park. There are like 10 national parks in Spain. One of them is this one. And there you can see all vultures, eagles, and all kind of birds. And it's really very interesting for bird watching, very interesting area. And we can also go and visit a winery. There are very small, very few wineries in Cáceres. This is one of them in a very special area, the south of Trujillo, and there you can have a gastronomic experience in this winery and, of course, taste its wines. And you can have a picnic in one of these private stays. That is something, these dehesas, these forests, you are seeing these landscapes, is one of the most emblematic landscapes in Spain. And this is really a very good idea to have a picnic there. And the last of the trip, we leave it to a very special person, Pepe, who he bought an abandoned house for the sheep, and he has converted it into a contemporary art place, also for events, and in a very special landscape. And next, for you to have an idea, this is the place. It's like something surreal in the countryside. It will always surprise you, rural Spain. And next to it, you have these prehistoric stones and also this Roman house. And this is the trouble. This group of Indians and North American French group did to Extremadura. So this is it. I hope you have liked it.
Thank you, Maria, for taking us through this countryside of the rural Spain and the authentic experiences our travel partners can include in their itineraries when they send their customers to you to the rural experiences of Spain. Before we actually move to the Q&A segment, let us take a short journey through the Rural Tourism Office of Spain. But we are going to leave you with one final video celebrating the beauty, culture, and soul of rural Spain. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Lisha Krishnan, who handles the travel head at Tourism Office of Spain, who is going to take you over to the Q&A segment. And I request all of our trade partners to submit their queries about today's session so that we can go over them and actually can answer your queries regarding your questions regarding the authentic experiences of rural Spain or anything that you would like to ask to any of our presenters today.
Thank you, Ajay. Maria, this was just magnificent. You have transported us to another world altogether, a beautiful world where there's no stress, where you are away from all the problems in the cities and the urban centers. Thank you so much for taking us through the beautiful itinerary that you covered, and really appreciate the work that Singular Spain is doing. Thank you very much. Thanks to Karina also, her colleague. and of course my director, Elena, for the beautiful introduction. So let's get on with the question and answers. We have some very interesting questions in the chat box. There is a question from Rahul Ratan. This question is for Elena. I'm just reading it out. From your experience, what are some similarities and differences between Indian and Spanish culture that Maria and Karina should know about?
Well, I think that Maria and Karina have already worked with Indian travelers. And in fact, this idea of considering Spain as a meeting point between Indian families living in the United States and Indian families living in India is completely wonderful. From the tourist Spain perspective, we want Indians to visit Spain with a purpose. And what better to meet there, to visit or to meet your relatives and to explore beyond the most or the better known cities in Spain. I also want to join you, Lisa, and congratulate Maria for her presentation. It's been amazing. You have given many ideas to our partners here in India to work with you and to explore this wonderful region of Spain that is the interior of Spain, especially Sierra de Gredos. In fact, the personal experience I shared on my presentation took place there in the south part of the Gredos Sierra, Gredos Mountains. And it's an amazing place to visit. Nobody goes there. And also these places in Extremadura are wonderful, very near the border to Portugal, which is also very exciting here in India because there is a trend of Indian visitors going to Spain and visiting also Portugal. So it's like very accurate and matches with the trend here. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, Elena.
About the question, yes, I didn't answer the questions. Yes, of course, I find many similarities between Spaniards and Indian travelers. We love family. We are very proud of our own gastronomy. We like going out to festivals, enjoying parties. And these are characteristics of both sides, no? Of either Spanish or Indian travelers. We are also welcoming, open. We have a similar sense of humor, but I think that Maria already knows this because she had the chance to work with them. But from my point of view, these are some of the characteristics that we share.
Thank you, Elena. There's another question from Shraddha. I think Maria can answer this one. Do they have wineries in the destination? I think she's talking about the itinerary. Also, please advise which regions, areas are best recommended for wine tours, vineyard experiences, wine tasting sessions, or countryside stays so that we can suggest the same to our clients.
Okay, wineries in Spain is alone, mostly the whole Spain. But Cáceres, there are no many wineries. There are two very the area we have done. There are two very interesting ones. One is the one I have shown it at the south of Trujillo. Is a big winery in a beautiful space and where you can have all these gastronomy experiences. And a more small winery, familiar winery. But around Spain, you can go lots of places. You can go to Ribera del Duero, that is Valladolid, very near Spain, very near Madrid, sorry, to the north of Madrid. Well, you can also go in Madrid. If you are staying, for example, if you are staying in the city and you want to go one day to visit some wineries in the area of Madrid, you can do so. Also, there is Rueda, or taking place in Valladolid. There is La Rioja, a little bit upwards. There is all the area of Galicia, where there is the south of Spain with the Jerez. So there are very different kind of wines. There is Zamora and Toro. Lots, really, lots of places. We could talk about it, but you can do a very nice, interesting trip visiting wineries and the surroundings. Yes, so no problem, because Spain is very much specialized in wine production.
Thank you, Maria.
Mm.
Connected to the question on wines, what are the uniqueness of Spanish wines? I think they want to know how different is the Spanish wine to the other French or Italian or any other wine. Is there anything unique?
Well, I cannot compare it with, okay, because I don't know the Italians, but I know some French wineries, but what I can tell you about the Spanish wine, what I can tell that we normally go to the singular cellars. That means is that we try to look for the more family production cellars, small ones that where the people, the owner or the people in charge, the professional of the wine are the ones who are going to show it to the travelers. It's not somebody in charge of communication or marketing. For me, this is very important because it's very different if it's the person in charge of the winery who is taking care of it, who is going to show it, or somebody else who has been hired to it. So we try to look for singular wineries, also beautiful landscapes, and also there are, for example, in La Rioja, there are some big wineries, architectural with that has been designed by big architects that they are not family wineries. They are bigger and it's something different, but I think it's also worth seeing it because it's very particular for this area. But we try to go to special, singular, interesting wineries. Family ones mostly.
Thank you. Lots of questions coming in. There's another question from Kanika Kocher. Kanika, thank you for attending this webinar. Just curious, what languages are the tours usually conducted in? And do you also organize fam trips, this is for Elena, for travel professionals to experience rural Spain firsthand? So the question is for both of you all.
Okay. I'll start with fam trips.
Yes,
we organize fam trips almost every year since I arrived here in India, because we are really interested in promoting lesser known destinations and rural Spain. You have to think that the uniqueness of a country lies in the rural areas. Probably globalization is making the main cities look a little bit alike. So the real essence is in the rural areas. There, as I said in my presentation, you can find the culture of a country. And in the case of Spain, the country is so diverse that there are so big differences between the north, the south, the east, and the west. Not only landscape, but culture. I spoke about Fallas de Valencia as one of the most significant cultural events in Spain, but I also talk about these new festivals with very old roots that happen in Extremadura or in Sierra de Gredos. But we can also talk about dances. For example, flamenco is very popular, but we can find muñeiras in Galicia, sardana in Catalonia, and jotas in Aragon. So many different kinds of dances. So for sure, exploring the rural side or the rural Spain is going to show you a new Spain that your customers here in India wouldn't expect.
Fascinating, isn't it? And Maria, what about the languages?
Yes, languages normally we do it in English. And if people, so they go with or there are, maybe they speak Spanish, English, if they're studying Spanish, English, and we have not done it in India, but in Indian language. But maybe we can try to do it and with a translator. But normally English spoken.
That's really nice. And Ajay, do we have time for more to take in some more questions?
Yes, please feel free to do so. If you want to
Okay,
take few more questions, please go ahead.
okay. Um, there's another question from Ashish Desai, which is good and easy mode of transport to rural Spain and connectivity as well.
Well, I start, then Maria, you can add something if you want. I mean, connectivity is excellent once you're in Spain. So train connectivity is very good. You can reach almost every single corner of Spain. I mean the main cities, you can reach them in a few hours. And from there, the public transport, private transport is very easy to use. The roads are excellent. Road trips are wonderful because it's very easy to drive from one place to another. Roads are excellent. So, of course, once you are in a rural area, you can enjoy all kinds of means of transport which are less or which are eco-friendly, let's say, like bicycles. So connectivity is not a problem at all to visit rural Spain.
No, that's it. And one important thing of our trips is the secondary roads we are taking. So it's part of the trip. This, we give a lot of importance to this. We can go in private transports. We are talking about small groups, so all the group can go in a small van. Also, they can go in cars, or they can go, as Elena said, by train. And there we can move along with high cars in different places. So really, no, it's not, because it's rural Spain, but it is very well prepared. So we always take care of these things. Also, we take care of accessibility. If somebody has problems, we take care of the places where we are going to go. That's why it is tailor-made. It's so important.
Thank you. So no problems at all for any kind of traveler, but
Oh,
just the interest should be in getting there to these
yeah,
remote villages, isn't it?
that's it.
Another question. It's from Laju Zariwala. How many days will be the given itinerary? I mean, how many days do you need to cover this itinerary that you just explained?
For the
Maria?
one, yes, for this one I have explained, it could be 7 days, 7 nights, 8 days, something like that. Because this is what this group did for you to have an example, but I have put a little bit more of what they did because I wanted to show you. But I think for them, 1 week, it was ideal. Ideal, because if not, they were changing hotels or rural houses every 2 nights. So they stay 2 nights in one place, 2 nights in another place, 2 nights in another place.
Okay, fantastic. So it's like very reasonable to do in 7 to 10 days,
It's
isn't it?
something reasonable, but you can do maybe only La Vera, and just the first part we have done, or Trujillo, Cáceres, and Mérida. So it's so many ways and so beautiful everything, so we can adapt it to all the days they might have. Yes.
And Maria, one question from me is that when these travel agents want have a client, should they just explain the profile of the client to you in detail so you can accordingly recommend what would best suit them, or how do you go about? Like, if you
Yes.
could just explain that.
Yes, when a travel agency or clients directly get in touch with us, I send them a questionnaire with questions, important questions. the time they want to visit, the group, ages. It's important to know the ages of the people, if they can walk and if they like walking or not, if they want to take their own car or they want to be with a chauffeur, the kind of food they eat, many, well, not many questions, sorry, but questions of this kind.
Not too long.
Not too long. And then once they answer them, I go the area they want to visit, and once they answer that, I go through it, and then I contact them, and we have a small conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Very interesting way of working. Very specialized, I must say. Thank you. Questions are just flowing in. I'm going to take one last question. And this one is a little bit of a toughy question. Um, why should we promote rural tourism in Spain in comparison to Central Asian countries like Kyrgyzstan or Tajikistan that offer unspoiled landscapes and rural settings? So, why is rural tourism in Spain different from the other destinations that have
To me,
beautiful landscapes?
yeah.
It's a tough one.
To me, maybe it's related to what I've said before is diversity. Spain is 6 times smaller than India, and you can find an amazing variety of different cultures in a relatively small area. So if you spend one week in Extremadura and South Gredos, you can spend another week in a very different rural Spain in the north, or maybe in Catalonia, or so. It's you take the most of your trip if it comes to visit really different cultures.
Very well said, Elena. I think diversity is what Spain offers. I mean,
Yes.
I think in just about like 10 days, going from north to south, you encounter different kinds of landscape. Every region is so different from the other, so you get a bit of different kind of culture to experience, and that I think is not available in many countries. And Spain is very fortunate to have this diversity.
True.
So I think we take it. There are more questions. We will answer them separately, but we are already half an hour more than the usual time. So I think we take it a call here. And thank you very much, Elena, Maria, Karina, and to our beautiful audience who've been very patiently, attending this webinar right from the beginning until the end. Pouring lots of questions are pouring in. Thank you for your support. We will try to answer each question separately by mail, or we'll get in touch with you. Thanks so much. And over to you, Ajay, for the closing.
Thank you, Lisha. I would like to thanks once again to Elena, Lisha from Tourism Office of Spain,
Thank you.
as well as Maria, and most importantly, Karina as well. Because Karina also played a pivotal role in actually operating this presentation. And thank you so much once again for all our audience taking so much interest in the authentic experiences of rural tourism in Spain. Like Lisha said, I can still see people are still giving submitting their queries. We would love to answer them. I will be forwarding all these queries to both the parties involved, that is Tourism Office of Spain as well as to Singular Spain DMC, and they will get back to you with more details, with more information on these. As I will.
Before we go, Ajay, can you put Maria's contact on screen so some people who would want to get in touch with her can write to her directly, please?
Thank
Uh,
you.
can you zoom it a little bit, Ajay? Maybe?
Uh,
No?
Actually, there is no possible. I mean,
Okay.
what I can do, uh,
In the chat, maybe you can just type in, no?
absolutely. What
Okay.
we can also do as a post webinar email, we can send the information of of Maria in that post webinar email with this, so that people can also directly write to Maria as well.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So
So
I guess
thanks.
that's it for today. We will be wrapping our session now. And with this, I look forward to see you all again in another aspect of to Spain tourism of on tourism offerings of Spain. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
bye. Bye bye, Maria.
Bye. Spain
Bye-bye.
is waiting for you. Bye bye, Elena. Alicia, bye bye.
Bye-bye.